I don't want to pigeonhole people into thinking that they need to play this game this one specific way, right? Whenever I give an opinion about something on here, it's because someone asked about my opinion or I'm approaching it from a design standpoint, right? Whenever you ask what is damaging to the game, what I think is damaging to the game is whenever a character option is so good that it completely invalidates any other option. We had this discussion about Twilight Domain Sorcerer, right? Twilight Domain Sorcerer currently is absolutely the most bloated out cleric in the game. Peace Domain does a very scary good job at doing the healer, very heavy support cleric and all that stuff, right? Twilight Domain does a lot of stuff for you at first level that no other character option gives you. Cough, cough, Hexblade, cough, cough. Exactly. Hexblade is super good at the multi-class synergy because it scales off proficiency bonus. It straight up gives you this hex that you can do, and because D&D is such a single target focused in combat kind of a game, it's usually always going to be super beneficial in every combat scenario to keep using that while you have it, right? So that's something that I look at that character option and think, this might be bad for the game because it's disincentivizing me from taking other options other than purely for character expression. And Twilight Domain is so apparent with it giving you so many extra toys at first level that, like, it's just... Wait, I was like, wait, what? There's only 2 here. No. Twilight Domain gives you 3 features and 2 free spells. 2 very fucking incredible first level spells. All here that you can access through multi-classing. You get proficiency with all martial weapons and heavy armor at first fucking level with this. On top of spell casting, on top of fairy fire and sleep that you get for free, on top of dark vision out to a range of 300 goddamn feet. And then you can share that dark vision with other creatures, a second level spell slot that you get multiple times. Dark vision is a second level spell, right? A pretty weak second level spell, but that's how they budgeted it. That's how this game is designed, you know. So you can share this, a free second level spell, with multiple creatures for long rest, and then you can give any creature you touch advantage on the next initiative roll it makes. Like, these are just flat out amazing mechanical bonuses that you get from this at first level, none of them speaking to the identity of this subclass at all. Maybe you might be able to say the dark vision, sure. What the fuck does being a Twilight Domain cleric have to do with you getting martial weapon and heavy armor proficiency? This makes zero sense to me, unless it's tied into the fact that, like, this is with a specific Twilight deity, right? I get fairy fire, I get sleep. You remove this, I think that the subclass is, like, still very insanely strong. You remove this right here, I still give it an S. I would probably still give it an S. Because this is all still really fantastic right here. It is so bloated down. Absolutely so bloated down. Yeah. Yeah, because you fight monsters. Yeah, so does, you know, and I know you're being facetious here, but, like, legitimately, if this is the reason, if that was the narrative reason why, then it's like, so does every other goddamn character. You know, so why doesn't everyone have proficiency with all martial weapons and heavy armor? Like, Optimancers look at Twilight Domain, and I know this because, hey, me and Chris Hanalka are following each other on Twitter. Optimancers looked at Twilight Domain and said, you know what? Hexblade got dethroned. This is the best multi-class right here. Of course you put a level in the Cleric and pick this up on every character. You want to do concept builds out? This is already a feat right here. You get proficiency with heavy armor. Already super great, right? Throw martial weapons on top of that. Throw 2 freebie spells. It's like multiple feats. Part of the reason why I get into those, like, tangents, right, is hey, thanks, Nana Dog. I appreciate it, man. Part of the reason why is because I hope that People are coming to my channel to hear my perspective on D&D, and I hope that people take, if you like the work that I do, this is my kind of mindset, right? If you like my class designs, if you like my form of analysis, that's what's going on up here, is I'm thinking about what's healthy for the game, not what's just immediately going to give you an absolute crazy loadout at first level, right? Part of what's healthy for the game is that it fosters a feeling of fairness, of camaraderie, of like character expression, right? So whenever something cuts into one of those three factors, I view it as a problem that needs to be resolved. What I suggest for things like Twilight Domain is that subclass gets so goddamn nerfed into the ground because it is objectively giving you more than any other character option currently in the game with a 1 level dip. You are ineffective as a character because the general budget of the general power of player character options after Tasha's, if you do not take a first level dip or just a 1 level dip into Twilight Domain Cleric, your level is not being invested in any other way properly, is the way that I currently look at Twilight Domain Cleric. It is disgusting how good that subclass is with the ridiculous loadout it gives you at first level. So that's my opinion, is that I think that, like, from what I've seen in other options from the 5+ years I've been studying this game, is that Twilight Domain is absolutely the best 1 level dip you can do of any character option whatsoever. It's better than taking 2 feats. It's better than taking, what I would say, Twilight Domain, you do a level in that, is like getting 3 feats into 1. You're getting Cleric cantrip spell slots, 2 freebie spells, heavy armor, martial weapons proficiency, dark vision out to a range of 300 feet that you can share with multiple creatures. That's 5 second level spell slots for free. And then you get the advantage on initiative rolls that a character can hit. That is all so good for absolutely every character. Absolutely every character. Are you saying someone who won't be as good? I'm saying that, like, in a game where Twilight Domain exists, if you don't take that subclass because of the complete loadout it gets, the only reason you shouldn't take it is if it's going to be redundant in some way. If you've already got Sleep, you've already got Fairy Fire, you've already got heavy armor and martial weapons proficiency, you've already got dark vision out to a range of 300 feet, and 5 free second level spell slots that you can blow on dark vision, and you can grant other creatures advantage on initiative rolls. If you've already got all that, then it's a bad multi-class for you to take. Because it is redundant at that point. But, like, goddamn, that's so good for literally every other character. Why the hell wouldn't you? You know? So that's why I think that Twilight Domain needs to be completely reworked. Absolutely completely reworked. That subclass is absurdly busted. I actually moved Hexblade back down into S because Twilight Domain. It so absolutely rooted me into thinking that Hexblade is an S and it deserves to be there because Twilight Domain exists. Would power creep in certain monsters counterbalance or make it worse? How so do you mean? You mean by making monsters more powerful, would it help to reel in Twilight Domain? That's like trying to do dental work with a chainsaw. You don't need to make all the monsters more powerful. It's going to make the issue, like you said, significantly worse. Because you're making, there you go. You're making all the monsters stronger to compensate for one single character option. The only way you can address this issue without a massive overhaul to the system is to absolutely nerf, just knock Twilight Domain's dick into the dirt. That subclass needs to be absolutely trimmed down. It would be unfair to the older subclasses and newer players. Yes, right there. That's the big problem. I can absolutely describe I swear to you, I can describe Twilight Domain in a way that makes it sound like there is literally no other option that you should take in D&D except to take Twilight Domain. It is that objectively good for every character build whatsoever. Yeah, Twilight's absurd. For me, the problem is the person in the group feels overshadowed because they don't feel as useful as that's the big problem that Twilight Domain comes up with. If every character at the table isn't taking a level in that subclass, the guy that did is going to outperform everybody else. That's the big problem with that subclass. It does have a cool theme. It does have a very cool theme. But I don't think anything about the narrative of it got it across, other than the dark vision. I just despise that subclass being in the game. It pains me as somebody that DM'd for Adventurers League, knowing what other like Adventurers League DMs are dealing with right now. Because Twilight Domain is that fucking dominant. Absolutely that dominant. Do a Twilight Domain build into, I don't know, a Moon Druid, sure, whatever. Like, yeah. At least Twilight 1 has diminishing returns. True. That's a fair point. And I agree with you there. But like ultimately I'm like, so then like the way that you make Twilight Domain worse is to get more people to take the class? Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so that is my rant on Twilight Domain. God, that might even become a VOD because of how much I despise that subclass.